Hi everyone, today I'm going to introduce some self-caring skills in the cooking and dining category, as well as some tips to master them and interesting facts behind them. To some of us, cooking is a really hard task. We might burn our delicious food and we might set our house on fire, which can be quite frustrating. Luckily, many dishes are very simple to make, and I'm going to introduce 4 of them. The first dish is chicken curry. To make chicken curry, we'll need 5 ounces of boneless chicken breast, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1.5 tablespoons of cooking oil, 1 middle-sized onion, 2 tablespoons of curry powder, 2 bowls of water, and a middle-sized potato. First, put the chicken breast into a bowl filled with cold tap water and add 1 teaspoon of salt and sugar to defrost the chicken. When we are defrosting a piece of frozen meat, we should never put it in room temperature to defrost. In room temperature, germs in the meat can multiply rapidly, which makes them hard to remove from the meat completely, even we have cooked the meat. After defrosting the chicken, we can cut the chicken into small slices. To prevent any chances for us to cut ourselves, we can hold our hands into a fist when we are cutting food. Next, we have to peel off the onion skin by cutting off the 2 edges of the onion. Cut it into small pieces. After that, we have to wash the potatoes with running water until all of the dirt has been removed, and we can peel off the skin with a peeler. Then we can cut the potato into small pieces and put them into a large bowl filled with water so they will not oxidize and change its color easily. Before we cut the potatoes, we need to make sure that the knife has been cleaned after cutting the chickens, since the germs in the raw meat can be spread to the cooked meat and can lead to dangerous consequences such as diarrhea and food poisoning. After that, we can pan fry the chickens in hot oil until all of them have turned completely brown. When we are frying chickens, we only need to add a little amount of oil. Also, we have to cook the side that is connected to the skin of the chicken first, since it helps the chicken to release more oil and juice that will enrich the taste of the curry. While we are cooking the chicken, we can boil 2 bowls of water in another pot. After one of the sides has turned brown, we can flip the chicken over and cook the other side of it. To cook the chicken effectively, we can gather all of the chicken slices to the center since it is the hottest part of the pan. Then we can stop moving the chicken slices and wait for them to turn brown. After both of the sides of the chicken have turned brown, we can transfer the chicken breast onto a plate and set it aside. After that, we can add the onion to the oil remaining in the frying pan and cook and stir them until the onion has turned brown and soft. Once the onion has turned soft, move the onions so there is an empty space in the middle of the pan. Then we can add 1.5 teaspoons of cooking oil into the pan before adding the curry powder so it will not be burnt easily. After that, stir the onions until all of them are covered with curry powder. After that, add the potatoes into the frying pan and stir them until all of the potatoes are covered with curry powder. Once the potatoes are covered with curry powder, we can add the pot of boiling water into the frying pan. We can also add a pinch of salt to enrich the flavor of the curry. Then we can cover the frying pan and simmer it until the curry has become thicker. After that, we can add the chicken slices and stir them until all of the chicken are covered with curry. Finally, we can add some string onion on top of the curry and serve it once it is boiled. Finally, we can put all of the food on a plate and serve the dish. The second dish is stir-fried broccoli with mushroom and carrot. To make this dish, we'll need 1 large broccoli, 1 middle-sized carrot, 1 large mushroom, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 300 grams of boneless chicken breast. First, we have to peel off the skin of the carrot with a peeler by pulling the peeler towards us. Next, we have to remove the small leaves on the stalk of the broccoli by pulling it away. Then we have to trim off the end of the stalk and cut the broccoli into florets. To make it easier for us to cook and eat them, we can cut the florets of the broccoli into halves. After that, we have to peel off the hard skin on the stalk of the broccoli with a knife. To peel the skin, we can use a knife to leave a small cut at the end of the stalk and tear the hard skin off. After cutting the florets of the broccoli, we can slice the carrot into small pieces. After that, we can dice the stalk of the broccoli into small cubes. After that, we can cook the broccoli and the carrots. To cook them, we need to fill a wok with water and heat it over medium heat. Once the water is boiled, put the broccoli and carrots into the wok and simmer them until the broccoli turns green. Then we have to pan fry the chicken slices. Just like how we cook the chicken for the first dish, we cook them in the middle of the wok since it is the hottest part of the wok. To prevent any chickens from sticking onto the wok, we should add some oil before frying the chickens. After one of the sides has turned brown, we can flip the chicken over and cook the other side of it. Then we can stir fry the chicken until both of the sides have turned brown. After the chicken has turned brown on both sides, we can add carrots and the chopped mushroom into the wok and stir fry them until everything is well combined. Once the chicken, carrot, and mushrooms are well combined, we can add the softened broccoli and carrot into the wok and stir fry them until everything is well combined. Finally, we can put all of the food on a plate and serve the dish. The third dish is omu rice. To make this dish, we'll need 2 eggs, 1 bowl of rice, 1 middle-sized onion, 2 tablespoons of ketchup, 250 grams of sausages, some chopped spring onion, soy sauce, and sesame oil. First, we can dice the sausages into small pieces and set them aside. Next, we can break the eggs into a small bowl. To enrich the flavor of the egg, we can add some sesame oil as well as some soy sauce to the egg. Then we can beat the egg until all of the ingredients are well combined. After that, we have to cook the rice. To cook the rice, we have to heat a wok over high heat and add the oil to a frying pan. Then add the cooked rice and use a spatula to break up the clumps and stir fry it until it has separated into every single grain. Once the rice has separated into every single grain, we can add the sausages and continue to fry them until the sausages has warmed up. After that, we can add the ketchup into the pan and stir fry it until it combines with the rice evenly. After that, we can add the spring onion and stir fry them until everything is well combined. Besides, we can taste the rice and season it with salt and pepper if it is too sour. After we have fried the rice, heat the pan with medium heat and add some cooking oil onto the pan. Once the oil is hot, we can pour the egg mixture into the pan to cook it. While we are cooking the egg, some bubbles might be formed which might affect the appearance of the egg. Therefore, we can use chopsticks to gently burst the bubbles. After the egg mixture has changed its color from bright yellow to pale yellow, we can remove the egg from the heat. Then we can put the fried rice onto the center of the pan. After that, we have to transfer the fried rice onto a plate. First, we can gently separate the egg from the pan with a spatula. Then we can place a plate right next to the egg and flip the pan over to transfer the rice onto the plate. Finally, we can add some ketchup and spring onion on top of the egg. Finally, we can put all of the food on a plate and serve the dish. The fourth dish is stir-fried beef with snow peas. You'll need 400 grams of sliced boneless beef, 2 teaspoons of oyster sauce, 1 tablespoon of sugar, a pinch of pepper powder, a teaspoon of sesame oil, 225 grams of snow peas, 2 garlics, and a large mushroom. First, we can use a small bowl to contain the beef. Next, we add sugar, pepper powder, oyster sauce, and sesame oil, and mix all of them together and set aside. Then we have to remove the strings on the sides of every single bean by pulling the strings from the side. Otherwise, the strings will be too hard to swallow after the peas are cooked. After that, we have to slice the mushrooms into small pieces. Then we have to prepare the garlic. First, we have to remove the skin of the garlic by smashing it with a knife and peeling off the skin with our fingers. Then we can cut the garlic into half and use the side of a knife to smash the garlic so it is flat and the smell of garlic will be stronger. We can also increase the smell of the garlic by cutting it into small slices if we cannot smash it. After that, we have to cook the snow peas. To cook the snow peas, we need to have a wok that is filled with water and heat it over medium heat. Once the water has been boiled, we can put the beans into the wok and simmer it until all of the beans turns green. After that, we can add the mushrooms and continue to cook them for a few minutes. Then, we can filter all of the water away by using a basket. After that, we can prepare to cook the beef. First, we need to heat a wok over medium heat and add oil. When the oil is hot, we can add the garlic and stir fry them until the smell of garlic is released. Once the smell of garlic has been released, we can add the beef and stir fry it until the beef has changed its color into brown. However, the beef should have a little pink color on it as well. Otherwise, the beef will be overcooked and it will be hard to chew and swallow. After one side of the beef has turned brown, we can stir fry and cook the other side of the beef until it has turned brown slightly. After that, we can add the beans and mushrooms to the wok and stir fry the dish until all of the ingredients are evenly mixed. Finally, we can put all of the food on a plate and serve the dish. After eating our food, bowls and dishes will have stains and leftover food on them, which might increase the growth of bacteria. Therefore, to prevent the growth of bacteria, we have to wash our dishes and equipment used for cooking. First, we rinse the dishes with running water to remove most of the dirt on the dishes. We have to make sure that all of the leftover food such as rice, vegetables or meat are all removed away from the dishes. Then all of the leftover food are collected at the bottom of the sink and thrown away. Then we have to remove the remaining dirt on the dishes with dishwashing liquid. According to a study conducted by researchers from Ohio State in a 2007 study, washing dishes after having a meal immediately is much healthier than just rinsing the dishes with water. To see if all of the dirt has been removed, we can use our fingers to feel if anything is still on the dish. Once all of the dirt has been removed from the dishes, we can rinse them with running water to remove all of the dishwashing liquid on the dishes. Finally, we can leave them to dry by turning them over. To remain the cleanest of our equipment, we need to make sure we clean it properly before we have used it. For example, we need to dry our knives completely before putting it back into place, since the knife will react with oxygen and rust when it is wet. As for equipment such as chopping board, we should not clean it with large amount of detergents, as it might stay in the cracks of the chopping board and spread on the food that was placed on the chopping board. Finally, we need to use the correct method to store our food. To remain the freshness and cleanness of the food, we can do it by putting the food in the refrigerator. If the food is in large proportion, we can divide it into smaller proportions and put it into shallow containers. We should not put hot food inside the fridge, since the rapid change in temperature will cause illness-causing bacteria to grow. Instead, we should let the food cool down in the room temperature within 2 hours before putting it into the fridge. Overall, I have introduced different self-caring skills, tips to master them, as well as some facts behind them. For skills, I have introduced the ways to defrost frozen meat, cutting food, beating an egg, seasoning food, washing food, peeling off the skin and other parts that are hard to chew on the food, pan frying the food, stir frying the food, as well as washing the dishes and storing food. I have also given tips on the ways to pan fry food effectively, enrich the flavor of food, washing and drying knives and chopping boards, removing dirt completely, as well as storing food in large proportions. For scientific facts, I have explained the reasons not to place food in room temperature for too long, not to wash raw meat with running water, not to use the same equipment to prepare meat and vegetables, as well as the reasons to use detergent to wash. And that's all for today. Thank you very much.